Hi, my name is Renee Teeley, and welcome to HouseCanary Appraiser. During this video, I'll walk you through the end-to-end process of creating an appraisal in the HouseCanary platform. So without further ado, let's get started. To begin with, there are a few things that I want to mention. To log into your account, go to appraiser.housecanary.com and enter your account credentials. Ensure that you're either using Chrome or Internet Explorer as your browser. If you're on an iPad or an iPhone, you can download our app through the App Store. You can use any part of the application with multiple monitors so you have additional workspace. Just copy and paste the URL and drag it to a different window. Ensure that your MLS is added by going to your profile in the upper right. On the account page, scroll down to the MLS and enter your MLS and user ID. If we don't have your MLS, email us and we can help you with our data bridge feature, which uses your MLS export. Now we're ready to create our appraisal. Click New Appraisal to get started. Enter in the property address and then select Home Type and Form Type for your appraisal. The inspection date and contact information is optional. Right now, our system is going to the MLS and public records, FEMA, and other data sources to pull the property information and then populating it in your report. You can see the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and GLA. You can also see our estimated value range for this property. This is our AVM, and it's just a data point for reference. Please note, your appraisal value may be different. When you're ready, click Begin. Here we see where the subject property is located, and we'll define the neighborhood for our comps. But before we do so, I want to first point out this More Details button. This page gives you an overview of the subject property. If MLS is not displayed on the top, it means it wasn't recently listed. You can click on the arrow button in the top right corner if you want the section to pop out so you can view it in a different window for reference while you continue your appraisal process. As you scroll down, you can see the data from the MLS, public record, and other sources to give you background details on the subject property. This is helpful as you go through the comp selection process. If your subject property is located by the water, you may want to select comps that are also near the water. You can toggle between the satellite view and map view of your property location. We also provide flood map and plat map. These are all included in your report. To get an understanding of the subject's local market, you can click this icon. The market graphs gives you an overview of the neighborhood and local market. This can help you determine if the subject property should be on the higher or lower end of the range and can be used in your report to support your value conclusions. Here we can see that this area is currently considered a strong seller's market. The months of supply is low, as well as the days on market. We can look at the market risk for the property here, and we can view the property details here. This shows you how your subject compares to other properties in the neighborhood. Our subject property is a 2-bedroom, which is pretty typical for this neighborhood. So now we're viewing the map of your subject property. If you notice that your subject property is displayed in the wrong location, you can click the pin icon button here and move the pin to the correct location. You can toggle between satellite and map box view as well. Sometimes new construction will show the wrong location, so it's a good idea to verify this information. Since my property was located in the correct spot, I'm going to cancel this update. Now we're going to draw our neighborhood, which is a very important step in choosing the right comps. This also aligns with how CU does it. On the right, we have map layers to help you define the boundaries. The first map layer is price per square foot. You can see how the other blocks compare to your subject property. If the price per square foot matches the subject property, the block is in gray. Next is school boundaries. We show what the school rating is, the location of the school, and the boundaries. We show the location of the school because if your property is located across from the school, it may yield a higher property value. Next is census tract. These layers are included in your work file in case you ever need to justify your neighborhood selection. You can do so. Now we'll draw the neighborhood. We have these tools to help you draw. The first tool is the street selector, then polygon, square, edit, and trash. I'm going to use the street selector tool for this. The available streets are highlighted and you can click them to select them. Click clockwise or counterclockwise to define the area. If you use this tool, it populates the neighborhood boundaries on page 1 of the URAR for you. Only the street selector tool does this. Once it's shaded yellow, you've completed the shape, then click to the middle so the completed shape is defined. We also give you the option to draw a similar market area. You would do this if your subject property is not a typical property for the neighborhood, or if there's a lot of market activity in this area. To do this, click Similar Market Area, and here I'll use the price per square foot. Now I'll use the polygon tool. If you zoom out, you can see where the similar market areas are. I know the San Francisco area, and this is probably a similar area. Select the area, then click Save. An important thing to note is that the reason we ask you to define the neighborhood and similar market areas is that all of the calculations are based off of your neighborhood definition, the 1-unit housing trends, the 1004 MC, and top of page 2. Similar market area is only used for pulling comps. Now we're pulling the information from the MLS with all the listings and sold properties. If you're on your iPad, this requires an internet connection, so I do it at home before you head out to the property and use the iPad in its offline mode. Now we have the properties in the neighborhood. The colors are HouseCanary's similarity score. How we calculate this is by looking at all the census tract across America and seeing which attributes have an impact on value. For example, in New York, the number of bedrooms might be more important than GLA, but in San Francisco, GLA is more important than the number of bedrooms. Our regression models can then predict which properties have the smallest gross adjustments, which are the ones in green, and indicate a high similarity. The ones in red indicate a low similarity. The gray pins mean there's a significant attribute, such as GLA, that's missing from the MLS or public record, so we don't know how similar it is to your subject. You can see the difference between the subject property and the listing by selecting the listing pin. Here we see a low similarity. The listing property has almost double the square footage of the subject property. The GLA is similar, but it also has an additional bedroom and bathroom. Click on More Data to view additional photos and property details. Now if I click on one of the green pins, which indicates a high similarity, you can see here the square footage is similar, as well as the GLA and number of bedrooms, although there's a slight difference in the number of bathrooms. Again, you can click on More Data to view photos and additional property details. We found 260 properties total for similar market area and neighborhood, 162 for just the neighborhood, and our farm list is 257. The farm list is based on the filters over here. You can make adjustments and narrow the comparables down through filters. I'll start by adjusting the timeline for the results. Here you can filter by 20% plus or minus of the subject property's GLA, and you can see the additional filters as well. You can filter as much as you want, but ensure you have a decent number for the 1004 MC calculations. Now you have your short list of possible comparables which is called your farm list. Click on Generate CSV to download all of the MLS data from your neighborhood. This is useful if you want to perform additional analysis. We suggest comps based on your farm list. To view the suggested comps, click Comp Selection, and then click Suggest Comps button. Our suggestions are based on the comps with the smallest gross adjustments. You can always choose your own comps as well. To help you determine if you want to use them, you can click Property Details to view additional information. If you decide you don't want to use one, you can delete it by simply clicking on the X. To add more comps, click Choose Comps. You can toggle between Map and Grid View. You can see the bracketing on the top and see what else you need. You can sort by clicking on the labels. You can also click on Data to view additional details. If you want to add the comp to your selection, click on the check mark here. And now it's added and we can click Done. You can drag and drop the comps around to sort them. This is the order they will appear on your grid. We also have the graph view where you can see how the comps compare to the subject. This gives you an idea of how many adjustments you might have to make for these comps. We show the total price and price per square foot as well. You can view driving directions to see an optimized driving list for your comps. This shows the best order to view the comps when driving around. On your iPhone or iPad app, you can leverage our GPS feature and also select which comps to take out so that you don't go to the comp that you just visited last week. Next, we have property details. This contains a lot of page 1 of your URAR. You can see we've already filled out 11 of 33 of the UADA requirements. If I open one of the selections, you can see where the pre-filled data comes from. If it's blue, it means some data sources disagree. So for example, the MLS and public record. Here you can see the difference is only a dash. So in this case, it's not significant. However, it could be something more substantial, like a discrepancy in the number of bedrooms or bathrooms. If it's a white shield, it means the MLS and public record agree. We also have templates. You can apply as many templates as you want. You can have one specific to a lender, neighborhood, market conditions, and then apply all of them to one appraisal. We also have boilerplate text that you can save and reuse for your other reports. For example, if there's a neighborhood name that you frequently use, you can add it here and save it for later use. Now it shows up here for use. From the 1004 MC section, we have a calculate option. The calculation is based on your neighborhood drawing, and it's available in the 1 unit housing trends, the top of page 2, and here within the 1004 MC. We aren't doing any fancy math here, but it saves time by pre-filling the information for you. You can add photos for the appraisal by clicking on the photo section. You can take photos straight from your iPad or iPhone, and it'll automatically sync once you have an internet connection. On desktop, you can drag and drop photos in. Here I have 2 dining room photos. I can drag and drop the photos, and they will both be automatically labeled as dining room. To access Sketch within the application, click the Sketch section. I'm not going to go through the details in this video, but we have a video within our support section that you can view to learn more. There are 2 main things to note. If you draw an area and label it, we'll calculate the GLA for you. Additionally, you can draw a non-GLA shape and then label it appropriately, and it will not be calculated in the GLA for this property. Then click Save. So here you can see your GLA before the sketch drawing is 864. Click on the Calculate GLA button to see the new GLA. This will populate the values everywhere in the application in corresponding fields. On the adjustments, there are only a few things I want to quickly mention. First, this is something that we call roll-ups. From here, you can expand it to see the required input fields. If you want to apply a description across, you can select it and click Apply All in the lower right. You can see on the top we write it in a UAD format. This way, you don't have to remember how to write everything in UAD format, and we'll take care of that for you. To apply an adjustment across, you click on the Adjustment field and click Apply to All. If you want to apply a GLA adjustment or another type of adjustment, select it and then click Calculate. Here you can apply a square footage adjustment across. You see the red boxes disappear. The red boxes highlight when your comp and your subject property don't match and it requires an adjustment. This is according to UAD. And the red highlight will go away when the adjustment is made. If your subject matches the comp and you input something in the adjustment field, the box will turn red. According to UAD, if this matches your subject, you shouldn't have anything in here. I also want to remind everyone to optimize your workflow. You can drag this adjustment screen to a different window and have your additional comment section open in another window. You can do this by copying the URL and pasting it into another browser window or tab. Here we have our property value. This is our AVM, which shows the historical value, the current value, and the projected forecast value. The yellow band shows you the estimated value range. This is the low end of the range, and this is the high end of the range. And this is the 3-year forecast range. The tighter the range, the more confidence we have in the number. If we don't have data for your area, then we won't show this graph. It'll say regression inconclusive. Please note the range is based on the value for your subject property, and it's not based on your comp selection. It's also important to keep in mind that while we have the most accurate AVM, this is meant to be one source of information. Your sales comparison approach value may be correct even if it's different than the value listed here. This is a mathematical model for the subject property. In other words, this is the value that CU most likely will also come up with, so you may want to ensure you have enough support in your report. We also give you the ability to use income and cost approach, which you can see here. Click on the button here to use income approach, or use cost approach by clicking here. Then enter your final value down here. Before you finish, you should run our audit tool. To get started, click on the icon here. During this walkthrough, I didn't enter a lot of information, so you'll notice a lot of errors. It found 78 errors and 32 warnings. The 78 errors are UAD requirements, so those will need to be corrected. The 32 warnings are reasonability, does this make sense type questions. The warnings are worth reviewing, and if the information is correct, you should consider adding comments in your report. When you're ready, click Submit. Here you will sign and date the report and fill out your profile, then click Next. Here you can see everything that goes into your report. You can click on each section to preview it. We automatically populate the location map, the aerial view, subject photos, comp photos, sketch, plat map, MC, flood map, and market graphs. You can also delete any items in the report by clicking on the X. If you accidentally delete something, you can click Restore to bring it back. You can add additional addendums by clicking on New Addendum and uploading a PDF file. Right now, we only support PDF files. If you have a PDF file that you attach to every report, we recommend that you add it to your template so you don't have to upload it to each report individually. Once you're happy, you can proceed. Click this and you can view the entire report. To download it, click Download. If you're on your app, you can email the PDF, MISMO, or ENV straight from the iPad rather than downloading it. Here's the file we just downloaded. Click to unzip the file. Here's the MLS and comp data sheets. Here's the ENV file that can be submitted to the appraisal port. Here's the PDF version. This is the MISMO you submit, the PDF, and a good portion of your work file. We store your files so that you have access to it anytime. You don't need to have a different storage. Thank you for watching this video. For additional video tutorials and appraiser resources, please visit our support center or call one of our customer care representatives. Thank you and happy appraising!